In 2006, Jennifer Brown was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a condition that forced her to learn how to walk all over again. Determined not to let that slow her down, Jennifer worked hard to build strength, and athletics helped her with that. And now she's part of Team Canada for the Parapan Am Games, starting this weekend in Toronto, and here to tell us about her incredible journey. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
This is quite the story. So you're diagnosed in 2006. Was becoming an international athlete something you thought you'd be able to achieve?
No, not at all. I actually got back into sport. I reinitiated my track coach just as a way to become more fit, you know, to get stronger, to sort of ward off some of the MS symptoms. And so getting to where I am now was not even on my radar, and the possibility of going to Rio next year was even less so.
Well, now it's within reach.
It is.
And
it's
just
getting
a few days away.
Yeah.
So how incredible. And now, how tough was it to actually start from scratch and learn how to walk again?
I would say, no pun intended, but the first step was the worst. You know, trying to figure out how I was going to establish my life again was obviously a challenge, but really small pieces. You know, starting to do a little bit more every day really helped me kind of get to where I am now.
And it sounds like you have a positive outlook, obviously. That must help too.
I definitely try, yes.
And you have some inspiration as well. Tell us about your relationship with your grandmother.
My grandma, both my grandparents were really, really special people in my lives. My grandma was also diagnosed with MS when she was around 35, and that was in a time, you know, in the 60s when there wasn't a lot of support for MS, and she was someone that just really chose to live. You know, it didn't matter what it was, it didn't matter how she felt or where she was at with her MS at that point in time. She was going to make it work. And so that, to me, that's a real inspiration. It's a real driver when I don't really feel like I'm up for doing whatever I need to do. It's a good reminder for me to just keep on going. Because
really this could go in any direction, couldn't it? But you've chosen to take it and use it to your advantage. Was that always the choice you wanted to make?
It took me a little while to get there. You know, after you get diagnosed with a major illness such as MS, it takes some time to sort of reestablish your life because obviously it's a shock. And so the first little while, it obviously was getting a bit of my bearings and getting, you know, my processes set up. And then after that, you know, just looking to my grandmother and a couple conversations I had with her, it was pretty clear that the optimistic and the happy path was the best way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, how does MS affect you in your daily life?
Fatigue is one of the major factors of MS. It's a huge piece, I think, for anyone living with the disease. It also affects me because I'm a little bit unsteady. You know, some days I'm better, some days I'm worse, but there's definitely physical implications. The MS has sort of chosen to live more in the left half of my body, but overall, I definitely have a little bit of imbalance, sometimes some lack of muscle control and things like that. But really, you know, my life still continues, things still go on, and it's really, even though it's there, I've learned to live with it. So.
And looking ahead to the Parapan Am Games, you leave tomorrow?
Yes, in the morning.
What kind of goals have you set for yourself?
Our goals for any meet I go to are always best performance on the day. You know, the best thing I can do on the day. I can't control the MS. You know, it's something that I've learned to live with a little bit, but it's obviously has a little bit more of a play than it would have before when I was in track. But it is also really trying to get the best performance we can on the day and doing what I can to make, you know, my family and my friends in Canada proud. So. And
do you look ahead to Rio from there?
One step at a time. Yeah. You know, Rio is obviously sort of the end goal. That's always, you know, in our consciousness. But Toronto is a really fantastic opportunity for myself and all of the athletes to show what we can do at home. It's a pretty rare experience to be able to compete in front of our friends and family. And so Toronto first, that we're really excited about. And then in October, we have the International Paralympic Committee's World Championships that are in Doha, and then Rio. So there's a few steps to get there, but we never really lose sight of what the big goal is.
Well, you certainly represent Calgary and Canada well. What an inspirational story. We'll be cheering you on here at home.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Thanks.
Jen competes on Tuesday, so we'll keep an eye on that. And I'm sure you do well at this sport, actually, axe throwing, which is what Mike Yanni's trying out this morning, Mike.